Hi, you two. Thank you
Hey.
so much for having us today. Let's talk about The Good Nurse. Now, Eddie, you're obviously a good actor.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on your golden eye.
Thank you.
But I've heard you weren't such a good nurse when you were
Useless
training
nurse.
for the role.
Useless nurse. I was sent by this man to nurse camp with Jessica Chastain, and we did a couple of weeks of it, and it's amazing how you regress to being a kind of 12-year-old again. And I'm sort of sitting at the back, sort of sitting on my seat, being like, I just don't get this, chewing my pen. Jessica was quite brilliant, and she has an instinct for these things. If in doubt, if you're ever in trouble, Jessica Chastain is the person you need. I'm not. You will die if you are under my supervision.
That's good to know. I always thought how cool it is that you get to learn such skills as an actor. What would you say we could all learn from Amy?
Oh, wow. Brilliant question.
I think we can learn to see the goodness in everything and insist on the existence of goodness. We at least now live in a time where we all try to find the differences between us, to try to define ourselves, I guess. But what she did was the opposite. She found the goodness to identify, to understand that a human being is not an island, that we do connect, that it's important that we reach out and touch each other. And the fact that she did that, that this is a true story, was extremely inspiring. And I think that's the big takeaway. The insistence on believing in love and charity.
Absolutely. And she showed him a lot of compassion, which I think is what made her so good at her job. How much compassion is needed as an actor or a director, especially when it comes to portraying such a dark topic?
That's an interesting question. I think you try and go into any character you're playing and approach them with as much empathy and compassion as you possibly can, whatever it is they've done. The failing happens when you judge your character, and that was an intriguing thing on this film, because obviously what Charlie Cullen did was monstrous and horrific, and yet for me those are true, but they're not helpful in the portraying of him. So it was about trying to find as much information as I could, and Amy, the real Amy, was the key into this, about those other qualities.
And then the storytelling is, for me, like 50% identification and 50% fascination. And often in portrayals of serial killers, we see way too much fascination. And I think that the really truth and the scary truth of this is that there is a lot of identification. It's how do you insist on the human being in front of you. We are not who we think we are what other people see, especially on cinema, other people being the audience. And if we don't insist on the humanity of these characters, then they disappear into a fascinated darkness where there's nothing left for us to feel, and then we can just lean back and get scared, but it will not be engaging in the same way.
And I really appreciate how you put Amy in the center of the story. I read that you don't believe there was any reasoning behind what he did, or at least I don't think he ever named it. What about you, Eddie? Did you consider this while getting into the head of a serial killer?
I mean, one of the things I found most interesting about the script was that lack of judgment, or the lack of response to the why of he did it. There is an answer given in the film, which is as oblique as it is sort of open. And I think that it was very important to me that this film didn't answer why, because there is no why. And the reason we're looking for a why is to make ourselves feel safer. Because if we can understand that and see that person as other, then we can be protected. But that would be untrue and unhelpful. What I did with this film was, there's an amazing book called The Good Nurse, which is written by Charles Graeber, which gives you all of Charles Cullen's biography. And this man was insanely damaged, and there is no way he should have been near the care of vulnerable people. And I tried to read all that and do as much research as I could, and then not judge him and play his empathy, which was true, even though he then weaponized it as authentically as possible.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.